Find more questions and study at your own pace on our website. The link will be in the description. Let's get started. Question 1. You plan to migrate App 1 to Azure. You need to recommend a network connectivity solution for the Azure storage account that will host the App 1 data. The solution must meet the security and compliance requirements. What should you include in the recommendation? Option A, Microsoft peering for an express route circuit. Option B, Azure public peering for an express route circuit. Option C, a service endpoint that has a service endpoint policy. Option D, a private endpoint. The answer is option D. To securely connect to an Azure storage account while meeting security and compliance requirements, the best approach is to use a private endpoint. Private endpoints allow Azure services, such as Azure Storage, to be securely accessed over a private IP address within the VNet, eliminating exposure from the public internet. This solution confines the network traffic to a private link on the Microsoft backbone network, thus ensuring a higher level of security and compliance. Question 2. You need to recommend a solution to generate a monthly report of all the new Azure Resource Manager resource deployments in your Azure subscription. What should you include in the recommendation? Option A, Azure Log Analytics. Option B, Azure Arc. Option C, Azure Monitor Metrics. Option D, Azure Monitor Action Groups. The answer is option A. To generate a monthly report of all the new Azure Resource Manager resource deployments in your Azure subscription, Azure Log Analytics is the recommended solution. Azure Log Analytics can collect and analyze logs, including activity logs, which track all resource deployment and management operations. By sending activity logs to a Log Analytics workspace, you can build queries and generate comprehensive reports on new resource deployments. Question 3. You need to recommend a solution to generate a monthly report of all the new Azure Resource Manager resource deployments in your Azure subscription. What should you include in the recommendation? Option A, Azure Arc. Option B, Azure Monitor Metrics. Option C, Azure Advisor. Option D, Azure Log Analytics. The answer is option D. Azure Log Analytics is the appropriate choice for generating a monthly report of all the new Azure Resource Manager resource deployments in your Azure subscription. Log Analytics allows you to collect, analyze, and query data from various sources, including deployment logs. This capability makes it well-suited for creating detailed reports on resource deployments over a specified period. Question 4. You are designing an application that will aggregate content for users. You need to recommend a database solution for the application. The solution must meet the following requirements: support SQL commands, support multi-master writes, guarantee low-latency read operations. What should you include in the recommendation? Option A, Azure Cosmos DB SQL API. Option B, Azure SQL database that uses active geo-replication. Option C, Azure SQL database hyperscale. Option D, Azure database for PostgreSQL. The answer is option A. Azure Cosmos DB SQL API meets the requirements as it supports SQL commands, offers multi-master writes, and guarantees low-latency read operations. Cosmos DB is a globally distributed, multi-model database service that enables both writes and reads in multiple regions, leading to high availability and low latency. This makes it the suitable choice for applications that require distributed data with robust performance and reliability. Question 5. You plan to use an Azure storage account to store data assets. You need to recommend a solution that meets the following requirements: supports immutable storage, disables anonymous access to the storage account, supports access control list-based Azure AD permissions. What should you include in the recommendation? Option A, Azure Files. Option B, Azure Data Lake Storage. Option C, Azure NetApp Files. Option D, Azure Blob Storage. The answer is option B. To meet the requirements of supporting immutable storage, disabling anonymous access, and supporting ACL-based Azure AD permissions, Azure Data Lake Storage is the most suitable solution. Azure Data Lake Storage provides hierarchical namespace, which enables fine-grained access control lists similar to POSIX file system ACLs. It also supports immutable storage and allows you to disable anonymous access to the storage account. That's all for today's video. Don't forget to check out our website where you can find more questions for this exam. The link will be in the description. Thank you for watching and good luck on your exams.